This community has seen us evolve. There are people who come into Stamps Super Burgers now and can tell everybody that they remembered me since I was, knee-high to a grasshopper, right? And I've actually, here recently, connected with folks who are much older than myself that could remember working with my grandfather and for my grandfather.
Oh, man.
And I think people appreciate coming home and still having a portion of, what they remember. The nostalgia to reminisce and think about the good times and, still know that they have a taste of home when they come here.
Well, hey there, I'm Gino Lee, the fourth generation owner and chef of the Big Apple Inn right here in Jackson. And welcome to Jackson's Table, a podcast that invites you in to have a seat and stay a while. Today, we are with the legendary Phil Stamps of Stamps Super Burger. Welcome to the table, Phil.
Thank you, Gino. Appreciate it.
Man, your family, your history, your story here in Jackson is legendary. Well, tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, my name is Phil Stamps Jr. I am the third generation of leadership to take over for my family's business, dating back to 1970 when my grandparents started this as a community grocery store. It was not until the 80s that we transitioned to food and burgers, 1986 to be exact. And then that second generation took over in the 90s and early 2000s and really helped us transition to burgers almost exclusively and really set the foundation for who we are today. And we try to live up to the reputation of one of the best burgers here in the Jackson area. So again, it's third generation, just trying to build on that foundation and see where we can take the business.
Well, man, I know exactly what you're talking about. My business, I'm the fourth generation, and it's hard keeping a family business going. One thing that I really love about Jackson is our stories that we have in the food industry. So tell me a little bit more. You started off as a grocery store, you said.
Yes.
Is it strictly grocery store? Because we're in the middle of a community right now. I mean,
yeah,
we're
for sure.
walking distance to Jackson State. So how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so I was born in 94. So I wasn't around for the majority of the grocery store transition, but community stores, community mom and pop grocery stores were important for, places like this, right? Washington Edition, in the early 70s, late 70s, and really early 80s, it was so convenient to just walk across the street to your neighbor and get groceries versus having to find a major grocery store chain. And it's my understanding that major grocery store chains really didn't impact our communities until the 80s, right? So just having that convenience of resources and people that you can call family, I think that was very influential for this community. So yeah, that was the genesis of everything, and it slowly transitioned into food. And I guess we can go back to the evolution of grocery store shopping here in the Jackson metro area. Once those major chains came into the communities, it actually forced smaller businesses like my family's to adapt. And that's one of the reasons why we started to introduce food, because we noticed that the change was happening around us as well.
But what I love is you stayed.
Yes.
You stayed in the area because you said the grocery store was like the center of the community. Everybody had to go there. If you wanted something to eat, you had to come here.
Right.
And here it is 60 years later, just about, if you want something to eat, you got to come here.
Right.
Because you're still in the middle of the community.
Exactly.
And you still keep your prices low for your community. And and you're legendary. I think your burger gets voted the best burger in town every year just about.
We try. And we try our best to keep the prices as low as we possibly can.
It's tough, I know.
Oh yeah, back when my grandparents were doing it, they probably served half the cow on the bun, right?
I know, right.
For maybe $3 or $4. In today's climate, we really can't do that, but we try our best to maintain quality product, quality customer service, and to make sure that our customers never have to compromise on taste or break their pockets or quality. And keep a fair price as well. So that is very important to us.
So your family has a history right here. Here we are right next door to Jackson State. And from what I understand, I read somewhere your family started a scholarship fund for Jackson State students. What is that?
Yeah, so it's the Algernon and Barbara Lloyd Stamps Scholarship Fund. It was created by the owners, right, my aunts and uncles and my father, to really honor my grandfather's legacy. Outside of the legacy that we're trying to continue to uphold here at Stamps Super Burgers. My grandfather was a man of many hats. He was an entrepreneur. He was an Air Force veteran, but he was also an educator. So it was important to again, build up that legacy and give opportunities to students who are pursuing a degree in business, and do that while also remembering my grandfather's name and everything that he stood for beyond just being a restaurateur. He's also been an educator as well.
Oh, wow. So how long has that scholarship fund been going on?
Do you know, I believe for about 3 years, maybe.
That's amazing.
I believe. Okay.
So education is the foundation of your family. Not just great business, but education. I understand you went to what, Morehouse?
Yes, sir.
Did
Yes,
you
sir.
go there thinking that I'm going to come back home one day and take over the family business?
Absolutely not. There's no correlation. I went for English because I felt that I needed to.
That was my major.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so we knew what we were doing.
That's right. I ended up doing the same thing you
Exactly.
did.
But yeah, no, I wanted to improve on some skills, and I felt English would help me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I graduated from Morehouse, I did not hop into the restaurant field at all. I actually went into sales. So yeah, I mean, maybe very little correlation, but it's important to be able to identify a problem and try to find the solution as quickly as you can. And I think that's one of the things that I took away from my sales background, and I try to apply those things here every day. So I guess you can say that there was somewhat a goal in mind or a path already laid. I just didn't quite know where the destination was at the time.
Right. Oh, wow. That's so cool. It's amazing how, we kind of fall into it. I just watched a film about Anthony Bourdain's life just recently. And one thing that Anthony Bourdain said, it's one of those things that when we chefs, restaurant owners, a lot of us don't choose that path. It chooses us, because I tell anybody, did you want to do this when you were younger? I said, no. In fact, I'll tell people today that you got to be crazy or a little bit off to go into the restaurant business.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah, for sure. And when I think about it, I think my parents, specifically my dad and my aunts and uncles, they knew what they were doing. I was here in first grade washing potatoes, right? So they knew what they were strategic, right? This was my summer job, so maybe they had a plan all along and just didn't let me know to a little bit later.
They just let you figure it out for yourself.
Exactly.
But maybe that's what I need to do, because both of my daughters right now have nothing to do with the restaurant.
Really?
And they don't want anything to do with the restaurant.
Uh-oh.
So
got you.
maybe I'll bring them into the studio and have them grind smoked sausage.
That's
for
what
me.
we got to
Just
do.
kinda
That's a great
slowly
idea.
start.
Yeah.
So, it's tough right now. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at you, but I'm leaning a little closer to this burger over here. You know what's wild? And it's my fault. Phil, my daughter is here with us right now. She's watching this podcast being filmed right now. And she said, Daddy, where are you going? She said, will you wait on me until I get off work? Because I want to go with you, because she's heard about Stamp's Burgers,
Right.
but I've never brought her down here.
Gotcha.
My bad, dude. Because this is the
No
best
worries.
burger of all.
Yes, sir.
And she was excited to see this monstrosity of a burger. And I know we can smell it all over this place right now.
Yes,
Tell me
sir.
what we have right here.
Yeah, so that's the traditional Stamps Super Burger. It's an 11-ounce patty.
It's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat, man. Yeah, we actually hand season, mix, and patty that daily, right? So that was prepped fresh this morning. It's your traditional American hamburger. It comes with mayo, ketchup, lettuce, tomato, pickle, mustard, onion. You can add cheese if you like. If you'd like to add a few more extra toppings, you can do grilled mushroom, you can do grilled onion, you can do jalapeno, you can switch up the cheese if you like, do like a pepper jack or a Swiss. So a few different options. And then next to it is our fresh cut lemon pepper fries, right? So we cut those potatoes fresh daily, and we make our own lemon pepper based house seasoning. And so that's the lemon pepper flavor that you taste on top of the fries.
Oh, that
So,
sounds dangerous. Now, what I usually get is the super burger.
Yep.
But I think you have like 10 burgers.
yeah, so you can get both the beef and the turkey burger in double options. We also have a vegan option, which is our Super Bello burger, which is a portobello mushroom cap.
wow.
Cap that we marinate, season, fry up to order, that's served with spinach, vegan mayo, and tomato. We've got a grilled chicken sandwich. We've got a smoked sausage sandwich. We have a bologna sandwich as well. So a few different options if you're looking for something outside of a beef burger or a turkey burger.
One thing that I always look for, and I don't know what this is, especially when I travel in the United States, I want to try the local burgers. There's something that's if you can make a great burger, I mean, you can really, really throw down in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What makes a great burger to you, and what is the mistake that a lot of people do that when they make their burger? Because I've had some burgers that were like, oh, this just isn't cutting it. What is their mistakes they do?
Trying to figure out the best answer without telling too much of the secret here. But I think having that ground beef prepped fresh every day. I don't know. There's something about not having it, refrigerated for days or
Right.
refrigerated overnight. Once it's freshly mixed and freshly patted and then put directly on the hot grill, it has that nice caramelization that happens on the outside while the juices
see it
are
there.
still exactly,
Yeah.
still on the inside. And I don't know, maybe there's a chemical reaction there, but it's the perfect reaction. And when it comes off the grill, and I'll tell you something else. Having the beef rest for a little while wrapped in that foil, it really absorbs all of the flavors of everything else that's around it, right? So the extra seasoning that we put on there, the toppings that each person adds to their burger, when the beef rests, it really absorbs all that flavor. So you're not just getting the flavor that we put into the burger with our seasoning, it's everything that you also added with the toppings that you added to your burger.
Like letting a good steak rest.
Exactly.
They say wait at least 5 to 7 minutes to take a bite of that steak or cut into the steak. I guess, the same would apply to a burger.
So with that being said, I'm glad you mentioned that. The next time somebody is upset about the wait time, remember, we got to let that beef rest so that it can
That's
absorb
right.
all of the
Exactly.
spot on.
They're good. You always have a long wait at my place too.
Gotcha.
But there's something to be said by waiting. That means your order is cooked fresh right there on the
110%.
spot. Nothing's sitting under the lamp. Nothing is sitting in warmers. When you order your burger, it's going to get dropped right then. In fact, that's when you inform the patty, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you're making it from scratch right then and there.
That's it.
So do you?
That's it.
I just thought about this. Do you form it into a ball and then put it on the grill and then smash it on the grill? A smash burger?
So we form it into a ball during the prepping process, and then once it's ready to be put on the grill, we slowly kind of form that ball into, I guess you can say, somewhat of a patty, not a
Yeah.
complete patty. After it rests for maybe 45 seconds, we flip and then press into like a 7-inch diameter burger, and then it slowly cooks back up into what we have right here.
Now that's an art. That's an art form. It's hard to form a patty.
Very hard.
And not have it break up at the end. Your patties are always beautiful. Always.
Thank you.
And you don't have a machine that forms patties, right?
Correct.
And fresh, never frozen.
Right.
It's not a hamburger patty you're breaking apart and out of the freezer. So, that says a lot about your food.
Yes, sir.
Which is why you're going to be doing this for the next 100 years. You've been in business now for almost a short 60 years. That's all. But you're always looking for that next step. What is your next step with Stamps Burgers?
That's a great question, Gino. Sometimes it's hard to focus in on the future when the right now tends to require so much of your
Right.
attention. But there are a couple of things that I would like for us to continue, I guess, to expand in specific areas. One of those is just social media branding and content. Make the Stamp Super Burgers brand something to be excited about trying. Make it a destination spot when you're in the area, so that when people come and visit us, they're proud to share with their friends and family that this was one of the places that they went when they came to Jackson. And what better way to do that than on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook?
That's so good.
One more thing we've done is start to package and bottle our house seasoning. So the lemon pepper based house seasoning that you taste when you try our fries, we bottled that now. So you can
wow.
purchase it in store, take it home with you, and you can have some Stamp Super Burgers lemon pepper fries at home, as long as you cut the potatoes at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. Because a lot of times we do get so wrapped up in what we're doing. I think about our parents and grandparents when they started the restaurant and when they started the grocery store. They weren't thinking about trying to build a legacy. They weren't trying to think about how to make this last forever. They were just trying to put food on the table.
Exactly.
They were just trying to make a living.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes we get so caught up in just making a living. We forget about, I guess, developing a lifestyle. You're still a young man. You said you were born 1990, 94.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I'm at the age right now. I'm trying to slow down. When people say,
Yes, sir.
what is the next step? Well, retirement
Gotcha.
for me.
Gotcha.
But I think that's really neat that you're always looking to to work on the Stamps brand, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Your website, man, is incredible, and you can go to all the social media platforms. And I love how on your website too, you can go, you have where people can give critique, and that's a bold move, but that's so smart.
Community was important. We were, chatting a second ago about, when our grandparents, great grandparents. You said you're fourth generation,
I'm
right?
fourth generation, yes.
So that would
But my
mean-
great grandparents,
exactly.
yes, yeah.
When they initially started, their focus was the then and now, and it was important for my grandparents to serve this community and be of service. And my grandfather, as a minister on Sundays, once we were closed, he would pile as many kids from the neighborhood into his van as he possibly could, me included. And we would drive all the way down to Utica, Mississippi for church, right?
Oh, wow.
It's so funny because one of those kids actually visited the restaurant last week. She has a kid of her own now, and she brought her kid in for a Stamps Super Burgers, and we reminisced about, those long church visits, week-long revivals.
Right.
But it was cool. I guess saying all that to say that this community has seen us evolve. There are people who come into Stamps Super Burgers now and can tell everybody that they remembered me since I was, knee-high to a grasshopper, right? And I've actually, here recently, connected with folks who are much older than myself that could remember working with my grandfather and for my grandfather.
Oh, man.
And for them to come and reflect and say, hey, I remember when none of this was here and when we had, grocery store things
I
here.
remember
and
that too. I remember
the first,
stuff on the shelves,
exactly,
right.
right?
Yep.
And the first grill was in the back. So I think people appreciate coming home and still having a portion of, what they remember, the nostalgia to reminisce and think about the good times and still know that they have a taste of home when they come here.
Oh, that's so good. Now, speaking of taste of home, because of your dedication to the area, I mean, you received a grant recently, right? Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. So it was with the National Trust of Historic Preservation.
Oh, wow.
In partnership with American Express. And it was an opportunity to restore components of our building while maintaining the essence of what we are. And that was amazing because, we talk about community. It's important for us to represent this community as best as we can. And even if that means, helping with some curb appeal, which is, what that did. We were able to replace a lot of the siding along the outside of the building, repaint the building as well, fix some signage with the building. So really, really appreciate it for sure.
Well, that's so neat. It's nice to be recognized, and I mean, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I saw that application, and
Yes,
oh
sir.
my goodness, you had to pretty much write a book.
Yeah,
to
I think that's where the English degree came in
There you
handy.
go.
Yeah, for sure.
So Jackson has so much to offer, as we talked about a little while ago. So many great restaurants, so many great mom and pop places, so many fine dining places. You name it, we have it right here in Jackson.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite dish or an item or something that you like to go to whenever you where's your go-to place or your go-to flavor here in Jackson that you have to get every once in a while?
Gotcha. I can't say my all-time favorite. I'll tell you what I'm enjoying right now.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So for dessert right now, I really enjoy Char's pecan pie with ice cream.
Yes.
Um,
Always a winner.
oh yeah. For lunch on Sunday, as of late, I've been going to Poppy's Pies in the Bellhaven Town Center.
Yes.
I've been enjoying that a
Yeah.
lot. And for my birthday, my mom recently took me to Little Tokyo, had some sushi. I'm not sure, is Little Tokyo specific to Jackson?
Well, they have a few locations, but they have one which is my favorite in Fondren.
Gotcha.
That is my favorite Little Tokyo out of all of them.
Gotcha.
They have a few outside of Jackson, but yeah, that's my favorite one to go to.
Okay.
Oh man, good choices. I love that. All
Yeah,
three
man.
are great choices.
Yeah, man.
As I talk with different chefs throughout these podcasts, I find that there's one secret ingredient that Jackson has that makes our culinary scene so special. To you, what is that special ingredient?
I think it's intertwined with hospitality. It makes every dish special. and made with intentionality, because we want to make everyone feel welcome. And for us, Jacksonians, that welcoming expression is expressed through everything, right? And food is probably one of the easiest ways to express love and joy and creativity. So I would say that hospitality. Every time somebody walks into Stamp Super Burgers, we say, "Hey, welcome to Stamps,"
Right.
right? We want to make sure if it's their first time in the area that we make a really good first impression. So I think you can feel that, and I think you can taste it as well.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us today at Jackson's Table.
Yes, sir.
This place is absolutely amazing, and the history of your place. Make sure you get your story told out there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
So, well, thank you for joining us today at Jackson's Table. And remember, wherever you sit, it's always going to be something good.